I'm Sarah Heirman. I'm the middle school math teacher at the Washington Waldorf School. Welcome to my home.
And I'm Chef Eron, and we're going to make my favorite cookie, a Snickerdoodle with a Valentine's Day twist. All the ingredients here. We're going to measure some things out, get our mise en place together. First, I guess the first thing to do is to put 2.5 cups of flour into this bowl. We measure our dry ingredients first.
I think it's always important that the flour is not too compact when you're using a volume measure. It's not more than is needed.
But I have a question for you later when we get to measuring the brown sugar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. That's a little bit of a different situation. Cookies are a little more forgiving than if you were making a cake or something, but
Which is why I stick to cookie making.
leave the cake making to me.
Right, because like butter, sugar, flour, bake it, eat it, delicious.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's 2.5 cups of flour.
Right. Also in here we're putting cream of tartar, baking soda, salt.
Using cream of tartar in cookies is old school, aka old-fashioned, and it used to be very common. And it's not as common now, but there are still some very traditional or old recipes that call for cream of tartar. Often something from your grandmother or your great-grandmother.
How much baking soda are we doing this?
I'll check the recipe.
1 teaspoon.
1 teaspoon of baking soda, Chef.
Sort of circling back to this whole cream of tartar thing, but I, my entire life, have never found another recipe that uses this other than Snickerdoodles.
Huh.
I know, it's weird. Salt also?
Yes. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I'll go ahead and take care of
That'd be
that.
awesome.
And this recipe uses kosher salt, which is crunchier.
We're supposed to melt butter.
What do you have in that pot over there, Chef?
Butter. I've melted butter. Because for the next part, when you mix the wet ingredients being egg, sugar, and butter, we're going to add some melted but cooled butter. First, Sarah,
Yeah.
we're going to put some brown sugar in here, as well as a cup of regular sugar, granulated. Can you explain to me why we are packing in a 1/2 cup? It's packed, right?
Yeah. Well, usually when you do brown sugar, you have to press it into the measuring cup so you get the right volume.
Oh, right, because it's like chunks.
Because it just doesn't, it doesn't settle into the measuring cup. So,
You don't have to pack regular sugar.
no, regular sugar just settles in.
It's almost a ridiculous thing
Right.
to try and pack.
It doesn't, it settles there. And this. Ta-da! So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to add the melted but cooled butter, and we're going to beat the sugar and the butter together until they're really smooth.
In the mixer.
In the mixer, in this thing.
Okay. You just pour it right in there,
I'm just
right?
going to pour it right in,
Yeah.
and it is still a little bit warm, so when we're beating it, it'll cool down before we add the eggs. If we add the eggs and the butter, it's still quite hot, it might scramble the eggs a little bit, which would make the cookies not have the right texture. One of the things that makes this recipe kind of special is that it has vanilla beans in it, which if you don't have vanilla beans, you can just use vanilla. It's not that serious, but if you have vanilla beans, it's pretty awesome. Where did Chef Eron go?
You're scraping the vanilla bean.
I am. I'm going gonna scrape this.
I do feel that with the price of vanilla these days, you could probably replace this with like a quarter teaspoon of vanilla extract.
I'd do a whole teaspoon.
A whole
I
teaspoon?
really like vanilla,
Well,
personally.
there you have it.
That's what I would do, but not
That's what
everybody
Sarah
has to
would do.
do what I would do.
But you are definitely the better baker of the two of us.
Caught on camera, everyone. Caught on camera. That is maybe the best day of my life just happened.
We've already,
Whew.
so in here
Put
is
this one in the history books.
butter, sugar.
Just butter and sugar, and you can turn it on in a moment. But I have a little Miss Heirman secret in my personal kitchen.
I have no idea what the secret is.
I have a jar that, if you can see, is full of old vanilla bean pods. And so every time I make anything with vanilla beans, when I scrape them, I add them to this bottle. And in this bottle right now is rum. Sometimes in this bottle is bourbon. Sometimes in this bottle is vodka. It just sort of depends.
Because
What's
vanilla extract
around.
is like some alcohol in vanilla.
That's what's happening in this bottle. And I just keep adding. And one day, the no more will fit and it will be done. But that day hasn't come yet. It's beautiful in here. Looking inside here, it's all filled with the vanilla bean flakes. So you add the eggs, and then we're gonna beat it till it turns pale and yellow and thick, like ribbons. It can take almost 3 minutes in the mixer.
I'm gonna crack some eggs.
Chef, why are you cracking them into a separate container and not right into your batter?
Oh, I don't want any shells in my batter.
Have you ever gotten a bad egg?
No, I don't think so.
It happened to me once. I got a bad egg, and I was doing this because my mom told me I had to do this. And I have been cracking eggs for more than 2 decades, and it just happened that I got a bad egg. But man, was I glad that it was in a separate container.
What's a bad? What does that mean?
Oh, it was rotten. It
Oh.
smelled and was spoiled. It was a
God.
bad egg. It was not for eating.
No.
And had I been right in my bowl, I would have had to start over. All right, go for it, Chef.
Okay, sir. Yeah, sure.
You want to take a peek?
Does anybody else want to look at what's going on in here? Just sugar, butter. Now we'll put some eggs in here.
And you're going to see it's going to really change the texture of this process.
Is it going to change color, sir? Yes.
This looks like a very different thing to me. So, remember what it looked like at the beginning?
I do.
Now you can see that it makes ribbons.
Whoa. That I've never seen before,
And
Chef.
it makes kind of like ribbons. The texture's really changed.
I'm going to pour this in here now.
Yeah, all at once. And then you want to mix it till it's just all incorporated. I'm going to turn it on, okay, Chef? And the dough is still really soft, but now we let it sit for about half an hour and it will firm up as the flour absorbs some of the moisture. We're gonna have some helpers when it comes time to roll these cookies.
I'm super excited, as they are too.
3 helpers, and they're very excited about it. I'm just gonna give it a little scrape, make sure that it's incorporated. And while it's resting, we can preheat the oven.
It's 400 degrees, right?
400 degrees, you're absolutely right, Chef. Chef Eron bought red sugar that I think, and we're gonna taste it to verify, but I think it's like crushed Red Hots.
It's cinnamon sugar. It's red cinnamon sugar. It's sort of cuckoo bananas, but I thought that Valentine's Day Snickerdoodles should be a little cuckoo bananas.
Should we taste it now, or wait till we pick the cookies?
No, I think we'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it smells like Red Hots.
You should. I'm gonna scoop them and put them here, and then you can
Roll them on, put them onto the...
We're using a scoop, which is about a tablespoon. You could use a tablespoon, but the idea is that this should be consistent in size, mostly. Sarah's gonna roll them around in the cuckoo banana cinnamon sugar, and just laying them out on the pan. They should be about 3 inches apart. The oven is preheating at 400 degrees. These bake for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then you can cool them for about 10 more minutes.
I'm really curious about how they're gonna bake up with this.
Like, I've never used
Red
anything
Hots.
like this before
In my life.
in my whole life. Right. I mean, it's a stretch. It's a flavored, it's flavored sugar. Normally I would just use sugar and cinnamon.
Yeah. So I have 8 cookies on this cookie sheet.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna put more on
I don't think you should.
because I think it will be too crowded.
I think you're right.
I think the teacher's lounge tomorrow is gonna have a little present. And I can see now that the oven has come to temperature. So I'm gonna pop in the first few sheets while you get the next few ready.
Excellent. You're the most awesome helpers here. This is like an assembly line of awesome. Of course, we all washed our hands before we did this, started doing this. And that's really super important because I do love the Snickerdoodles.
It's Chef Eron's favorite.
These are my favorite. It's because these were the first cookies that I ever made, all by myself. Sarah, are you moving the cookies to the cooling rack now?
Yeah. All aboard the cookie train.
This is so great.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cookie cheers.
Yeah. Awesome, guys.
How do you fit your...
I think you have to break it in half.
Yeah. In that cup, you break it in half. And this one, it's just like this. So good.
Well, these definitely feel like Valentines Snickerdoodles.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. Thanks.
Thanks for visiting us today.
This is so
love
awesome.
the cookies. Okay. Who would like a second cookie?
Me!
You can tell with just the new sheet pan at my house.
Yeah, sorry. It's a very important off-camera direction that my son had to give me.
Oh, just a bit of water. Something unrelated to our project here.
Oh, okay.
Those ones are a little bit overdone.
Yes. That's it, huh?
So not so long next time.
Oh.
You're totally burnt.
Oh my gosh.
Are your children giving you pointers right now?
They are totally giving me great pointers, I think.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
No,
Everybody
wash
out
your
on the
hands,
porch
guys.
and brush your no onto the porch and brush
Onto the
your hands
porch.
off, please. Okay, and then you can go wash.
Yes.
That was a bit extra there, guys.
Yeah.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
There you got me.
And I put so much cinnamon on it. Cinnamon. Cinnamon.
It's a hard word to say. Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Would you eat a cookie as big as your head?
No. Cinnamon.
Cinnamon? Yeah. Would you eat one?
Yeah,
as
I'd
big as
try
your
it.
head? Would you eat one as big as your head? Yeah.
This is how you say it. You say it like this. Cinnamon.
No.
Cinnamon.
No.
Cinnamon.
That's right.
Cinnamon. Cinnamon. Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Is the video still going?
There's so many great pictures to be taken.
Less like that.
Cinnamon.